Cool. So with that, maybe we'll have Mukund show us their hop, which is focused on creating a framework for setting up a micro front-end stack. Very technical, so I definitely want to hear more about this. And so feel free to get that screen shared when you're ready, Mukund.
Yeah, sure. So even though it sounds technical, I'll try to make it more interesting. Hopefully. Yeah. Hi guys. Yeah, Mukund here. So today I want to present one of the hypothetical ideas I have, like having using the new technologies like web component and building a micro front end architecture out of it. So I'll just share my screen, like showing you the pitch. Then I will go through the demo. Does that sound good? Cool. So yeah, currently most of the applications that are there on production, right, are single page applications. Yeah, we have some server-side rendering pages too, but the web apps are single page applications and they use different kind of single page up, I would say libraries, or you can say frameworks like React, Vue, Angular, and it could be a jQuery and JavaScript application as well. And when you have so many kind of applications, how do you want to use them as a part of your main application? Is the crux of the, I would say, my architecture or my hop demo is about. So the way I have envisioned is there would be like this is the way currently the production applications go through. They have different kinds of applications, uh, like front end application A, which is built on React, and you have like B, which is built on Vue. C could be a JavaScript. They go into production, and you will have a container application, which basically has some kind of server reroute to make sure that it basically traverses across this application. But the new technologies that we have, like web component, altogether removes this concept of having different, I would say, a server reroute. So what I'm thinking of not having a server reroute, instead it could be everything on painted well on the browser itself. So how it enables is like web component consists of three things, which is custom component, shadow DOM, and template. So template custom component is nothing but you basically have your own HTML tag. So you can create my HTML tag or my paragraph. Like paragraph, everybody is familiar, right? HTML is like everybody knows it. It has been there since long. So paragraph, like if you want to create your own paragraph with custom styling and custom functionality, you can go ahead and extend custom current HTML paragraph with your custom functionality, and that is called custom component. And when you get into Shadow DOM basically gives you a flexibility like attaching the entire data that you have in your template onto your DOM. So basically, even though it's attached onto DOM, it's a separate DOM tree. So what I mean to say here is it's basically comes across like this. Like you have documentary, this is your DOM, browser DOM, and Shadow DOM tree basically attaches itself into Shadow DOM host. Advantages, what we have here is the Shadow DOM tree is completely independent of DOM tree. So whatever we have styling and other things won't follow back. So it's not like hierarchy of styling and other things don't go through. And also it helps you like avoid collisions that you have in regular applications when you are trying to host different stylings on different components. Am I clear? Yeah. So going ahead with that, so what I have proposed here is like I have come across in my demo is basically I will be creating three different components where you don't have this horizontal styling. Each styling will be applied to its own component. In that way, it is more modular and it could be basically developed and deployed at scale. So modularity is achieved through this kind of architecture. So just I'll show you how I build my application. So maybe that could be interesting. So yeah. So this is my base application where I have basically hosted my all data as a static file server. So index.html is my uh, default document that gets loaded onto browser. So I'll just start my npm. So this will start on localhost 3000. Yep. So my static file server has started. So now I go into localhost. So you see there are two apps here. These two apps are basically the apps that have been loaded as web component. So how it comes across is it has the so this is shadow DOM root. It has its own style for its paragraph, like where background color is brown and its font color is basically white. And I have a paragraph styling on my parent DOM as well, but that is automatically taken care by shadow DOM. There is no dependency on that. And similar is the case with another shadow DOM component where I have my own styling with second component. So I'll just show you how I have created these two components. So these are basically simple JavaScript components. So earlier what I was talking about custom component, right? This is a custom component. So I have created first tab as my custom component, which is extending HTML element. And this is the template for it. It has a specific kind of styling and it has basically data like first tab component. And I'm loading this into my shadow DOM. So my shadow DOM tree will have this template with the data that I have spread across the styling that I've applied. And same is the case with second app. So I've added style, content, and just to show this. Now I'm getting into a real life scenario where you have a React app or Vue app in production. Now you want to integrate it onto your main container. So I'll just show you like how my Vue app is coming up. I already built web component from Vue and a web component from React. So I will show you how I built it. But in the meantime, I'll just show you like how it's getting loaded onto my main container. So this is my Vue app and this is my React app. And they're all basically clubbing onto my orchestrator, or you can say the container. So the advantages are infinite. I mean, I would say this is like going ahead, like in a way you can consider now you can create your own shopping cart where you customize the API as your, like you create a contract on your web component where you take across API URLs and stuff, and you can create your own shopping cart or something like that. And that component, web component, can be uploaded onto your suite of products. So it's like quite independent of this thing. So you don't need to rework or build a shopping cart or a chat application for your different products that you have or different web applications that you have. And the modularity is like that, like you make a change on like Vue app, I want to make a change. I go ahead. In Vue app, I'll say like, yeah, I want to make a change. Let's say, let's say hello app demo. Let's say I build this. Give me 1 minute. So what I will do is I'll build my web component and it automatically deploys the web component that is required onto my static file server. This is basically showcasing the modularity that I have built in the application. So now the Vue app is changed. So it's Vue app demo once I refresh. And the same thing is with React. So if you want to see how the React app works, it's similar way you can make a change and basically deploy it. So I make a change with perfect. It's got deploy. So you see this simple app demo, and this is the modularity what I was talking about. So now you can host your web component separately onto your static file servers or CDNs wherever you want. CDN is the current way to go. So once you host it on your CDN, it's like just plug and play. You just plug that into any app that you want with your configurations like API and custom styles if you want, inject them and just plug and play with the modules that you want. And the way web component provides a shadow deep concept, even you can go ahead and extend and create your own web components based on your domain. So right now, many people face this issue of creating their own custom components in React and Vue, and they basically try to share these components, but they are built in React. You need to have a React app to basically use this. But these components are framework agnostic. So once you create them, that's it. Anybody can use them. Yeah, that's it from me. My demo is also done. There is one more thing I wanted to show that I have done as part of app as well. I've created an embedded web component. So if you want to use like iframe style of embedding an application into your app, uh, you can do that too, but you need to basically have your, I'll just show that. So that will be, that will still work, but the only thing is you need to enable your calls. So whitelist your application that you want to basically run.
Mukund, you're just at time. So if you want to just wrap up real quick, and then we'll get a couple of questions going.
Yeah, sure. I'm just showing you the component. I think it should be. So this is like iframe kind of embedding into it. That's it. This is the additional thing I wanted to show. Like people are comfortable with iframe, so still we can do iframe kind of thing. The challenges that we have is with styling. So yeah. So I'm working on the styling part, how to fix styling and load those styling as part of the component bundle itself. Yeah. Yeah, that's it from my end. Yeah. So
awesome. Nice work. Feel like a lot's going on here, and I'm curious to hear if anyone has any questions.
Yeah, I'm wondering how you pass information. Have you looked into that? Like, how do you pass information from one child app to another, or are they just completely independent?
yeah, stage management, I've still not added it. I get your question. State management. Yeah, state management is the next thing. So you can have that too as a separate entity, but yeah, it could be using through some kind of shade, like I mean JavaScript object, or you can have it through local storage or session storage, but I have not yet figured out like how do I want to do it generically, because yes, you need to have that sharing, state sharing.
Right. And I'm assuming it's kind of the same thing because it's just like the Shadow DOM libraries, but like rendering. Yeah, rendering. Have you kind of looked into that? Like if, let's say, your top level app or one app does like a state render, it triggers subscription on any other renders on the other apps. Like, have you looked into that?
You're talking about re-rendering the page, right? So if something has parent has rendered, I don't think it will re-render, but I will check on that because this is Shadow DOM, right? It only applicable on that element. So if there is no change on that element, it might not be applying.
Right. Okay.
Awesome. Bill has his hand up.
Yeah, that's cool. Have you thought about how you might have, like versioning and stuff like that? Like it seems like so far you've opted for like the most dynamic version, but like you may have cases where you want to sort of like pin a specific version of like one of the apps or something like that, so you don't deal with like the sort of proliferation of different versions and like they're constantly sort of being updated and stuff like that. So if these were all like deployed to CDNs and stuff, have you thought about how you would have some control over that?
Okay, but the versioning comes into picture when you want to have to update your container app. So my ideology is to not to update the container app. So if you maintain version, then I have to go and update my version on the parent app. So that kind of deals with it. What I think is basically this architecture, you need to have some kind of automation test which basically pass across the scenarios that basically the dependent apps are consuming this component. So once you're able to do that, I think you should be able to independently deploy that. Or else I would be basically releasing each version here. So I have to make container app change, which what I thought was like, or envisioning here is basically that should be more modular. You basically make the change and deploy. But yeah, here we can add versioning. It's basically having it on how do we want to structure our code. So I could have put app1 v1 slash index.js. So it could go into version 1, then we can go into version 2.
Yeah, I feel like this is the kind of thing where you like start out and you're like, yeah, it's awesome. You just change whichever part you want and it gets updated right away. You don't need to like deal with the versioning of it. But then, yeah, like after you're like, first or your 10th time of like having, some change happen that gets deployed and you can't figure out, why these things are incompatible. It's like, okay, I need to maybe think about how to restrict this a little more. But yeah, it's very cool.
Yes.
Thanks.
I get it, because once the consumption, the clients grow, right? That is where the problem starts. Then definitely versioning needs to come into picture. But you have few apps initial for MVP, I think this can go around.
Yeah.
But later I understand for scaling out, you definitely need versioning and you need some kind of a test suites on container as well as on your modules.
Awesome. Let's take one last question from Kenrick and then we'll have him share as well.
Yeah, so I just wanted to like speak more towards I'm just imagining a certain scenario in my head and I want to know if it's possible where let's say like the app shell is being developed in Vue and like within that app shell there's another basically app that's being served at a different endpoint and it's the one that delivers all the functionality. Is there a scenario where there can be like multiple applications that are using the same app shell that just like called from some API? And once you've updated that app shell, it updates across like all of your micro apps if you've decided to like split your application, your front ends into like multiple repos or multiple deployments, but you want to have that similar look and feel or similar functionality shared between all of them. Where you can just like update one bit and then it updates across all of your applications in production. Is that something that this would be able to accomplish?
Yes. You're talking about the other way, right? Where I have my parent might be having some kind of a theme and I want to apply that into my child apps or web components I want to flow. That is a traditional way of DOM. DOM works that way currently. But if you want to do that, you need to do some kind of handling on that. Like you need to manually embed your styles into your components. That is still possible. You can go ahead and add the style here, like template.append shell, right? You can go and link your CSS file and append it into your template node.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
So all the custom components, wherever you have, you need to basically manually load them load your styles onto your shadow DOM. So once you do that, you need some coding on container app. That is what I mean to say. It's not straightforward. Yeah, you need to club all your container components and inject your styles into them.
Great. All right. So thank you so much, Mukund, for sharing and for your hard work. Awesome to have this opportunity that everyone can ask you questions and, hear about what you've been working on. So thank you so much. And let's bring up Kenrick, your time to shine. I know you've been working on your project. I think it's called Collab Estate, which aims to make it easier to find your next home. So Kenrick, feel free to share your screen and show us what you've been up to with that.
Yeah, thank you. So I'll start with the Google Doc and basically the pitch of what Collab Estate is. So for my help, I decided to build out an application, which at some points through developing it, I did regret, but 5 days to develop an application is pretty ambitious, especially when you want to do everything. So I definitely had to shave off a lot of the functionalities. I pushed them all the way back into the stretch goals. But basically, this is what I've chose. Like, this is what I have so far. I'll now demo it in a second. So Collab Estate aims to make it easier to find your next home. Whether you're renting or buying, the app eliminates the gap, basically bridges that gap where you have to go back and forth with either your roommate or your realtor or your spouse or partner on like what exactly you guys are looking for. I don't know if you've actually been a part of that process. It can be very tedious. I've recently just been in that process and finding a home and reaching out to your realtor and them sending you an MLS listing, which is like just a bunch of links in an email, and then you're texting them, and then they have to go and schedule the visit, and just that back and forth becomes very very tedious, and you end up losing a lot of information, you end up losing a lot of time. People will outbid you because no one's moving fast enough. So I just wanted that process to be extremely streamlined. So this is what that serves to accomplish. So I'm just going to jump into the demo, and hopefully the demo gods are with me. And I've chosen to actually host this. So at the end of the demo, I'll send a link so anyone can actually jump on and start using it. I want it to be extremely simple for anyone to actually start using it. So I did away with the traditional password username, and I just allowed you to just enter your email address and sign in. This will send you a magic link to your email address, and you'll just have to like click that link and you'll be signed in. I don't know if you can hear my dog. I apologize for that. So I did it ahead of time because I know that sometimes email takes forever to get sent. So I'm just going to click the link, and it's going to bring me into the app. And I've actually chosen to recreate a room as well. So this is the first room I've created, and you can create multiple rooms. Which as you bring people onto the application, you can create a room that you share with one person, or your realtor can create a room and invite you. That's basically just where you actually do the collaboration. And I just give the rooms random names. So once I go into a room, it's going to look very traditional, like a real estate application. You're going to have like your search and your listings essentially, and you'll be able to filter down and find something that you're something more exact to what you're looking for. So for this part of the demo, I've actually asked Deep to help me out. So I'm going to be his realtor in this scenario. So I'm just going to really quickly send him the link to jump on, and I'm going to find him a home. So he's going to come back, and then we're going to have a very small conversation on what he's looking for. And Jadip, if you can like jump on real quick. There he is. He popped in. Like your gravatar, by the way. It's like an onion head. So I'm just going to say, hey, what's up? Let me know what you're looking for. I'll just say what you're looking for. And while he tells me what he's looking for, I think I already know this. I think he's looking for a place in Atlanta. So let's just filter down what the places are in Atlanta. And I think he said he wanted 2 bedrooms. Yeah, so let me filter down for that. And I think he said he wanted apartments. So yeah. That's it. These are the places that I found so far. By my professional opinion, I think he's gonna like this one and this one and this one. So instead of having to send him an MS listing, I can just say, hey, send this to the chat, and I can click these 3, and he's seeing that information on his side. So as he goes through and actually starts clicking on these, it will jump in right into the list, so he can see what he likes here. And then I'm just gonna say, what do you think? These, and he can go off and he can actually start looking at them. I can go off and start looking for more, but that process basically becomes just like instant. The moment I find something he likes, it's almost conversational. And he can actually send me a recommendation as well. I noticed that when I was finding my place, I was actually the one who found it, not the realtor. And I sent it to her, and then she did all the necessary like footwork as to actually find it. Oh, he says it's a bit costly. Okay. So let me go back to the drawing board. Oh, he's actually sent me one. Okay. So he sent me one as well. So now I can actually look at this listing, and I'm saying, okay, then that's the price range that he wants. So you can see this process becomes like a back and forth. You can see it playing out between multiple people. You can see it playing out between just 2 parties. But essentially, I wanted it to be very simple. So just going back to some of the details about how the implementation works. It's utilizing an API that I found for realty listings. real estate APIs are notoriously hard to find, and they're very gatekeeped. There's a very massive gate as to like get into these APIs. I know realtor.ca was like a really big pain. I have to actually become a realtor to get access to data, and I don't think I could do that in 5 days. So I just chose to get like a free one after it. Yeah, so I wanted like very simple sign on. You should be able to like invite anyone. They should just be able to sign on with their email. You can invite people. You can chat and you can share listings. I'm using Ably for the live aspects, the chat and the sharing of the information. That's all done through Ably. I found that was a very easy one to use, especially with React. They had a lot of really cool React hooks, and it took me like 2 minutes just to do. So that was really nice. They do all the presence API stuff as well. So if JD leaves the session, then he just disappears, and I can see that live. And it manages like all the chat room and session live aspects. I'm using TypeScript, React, Next.js, and MySQL for the backend. And as you can see, I wanted to make sure that you could basically search for information, both you and your realtor, or you and anyone else who you're trying to find a home with. The session should be real time, but it doesn't have to be. It could be a case where I have done all this legwork upfront, and then you can come in afterwards into a room and see all the information that I've already laid out. So it can be a very asynchronous process. And it's running on Vercel right now. Computer is dying. It's also checked into GitHub, so you can see the source code. Nice to have documentation. This was a very quick project. It's very quick and dirty. Tests. I don't know when I would ever get to that. A realtor portal, like having a realtors being able to sign up and invite their clients in, so that they can provide like an onboarding process where they actually say what they're looking for up front. That would actually be really nice. I think a lot of realtors have like very simple websites where they just like give you listings, and they just have like their headshot and the description of what their backstory. So just having a way to reach out to them and say, hey, I'm looking for this place in this area, and just giving as much information up front as possible. To think about, I thought about the backend language and the front end. I'm using React. The privacy concerns are pretty big because Ably doesn't actually allow me to authenticate. Well, the implementation doesn't authenticate, so anyone can actually do anything. So that's definitely something that I will have to look into. And realtor APIs are super hard to find. I don't think I would do another hop with a realtor like API thing. I think I spent like a whole day trying to find something that would give me free data without me having to pay for anything. Stretch goals. I think I made a mistake here. So basically what this is saying is I wanted the ability to follow the person who's in charge of a session. So if you had clicked on someone's head, the head bubble, you'd be able to follow them as they go through listings. That would be like a more real-time scenario. So as they go through listings, as they go through searches, you would see the same things on your page, and that would aid in like a video call or a voice call scenario where you could like in real time say, hey, I like this place. As I go from picture to picture, I'm like, oh, I like this picture. And it's just like a more collaborative experience. I think when I was trying to find a place with my now fiance, there'd be like a place with like 500 pictures, and I wanted her to see just one picture, and I had to actually go into the source code and pull the picture out just to send it to her. And I was like, this is very painful. I wanted her to see like the 200th picture for the place, and then like if there was a way to just like send her a direct link or make it very collaborative where she could just see me go through the pictures and we just discuss that live, that would be very nice. Just be able to jump on a video or voice call during a session in a room would be nice. And like after we found a home, being able to set up a visit with an integrated calendar just to say, oh, you're going to this place on this day, you're going to that place on this day, that would also be nice. And I think I spoke to the onboarding for the agents and their new clients. This is currently hosted on GitHub, so if anyone's interested, they can definitely take a look. And if anyone wants to sign in and break it, I will post the link in the chat. And that's it. Yeah.
Nice work, Kenrick. That was
Thank
really
you.
cool. I feel like you're talking about a lot of issues that a lot of us have gone through, and you're going to have your work cut out for you trying to find Bill and Fong a spot. They gave you some specific criteria in here, but yeah, curious. I know we're over time a little bit, but wondered if anyone had any questions for Kenrick.
Yeah, that was awesome. I was, you already answered the question about the real-time stuff, because it seems like you were able to whip that up pretty quickly. And so, where did you find that tool? Because I hadn't heard of Ably before. Is it like fairly new?
I think it's in the lines of it is fairly new. I think I heard about it on. I was just watching like a live stream, and someone was saying they hit Pusher and they like Ably better. So I internalized that somehow. And then I was like, oh yeah, I was searching for when I was building this, I went through 3 different platforms. I went through Firebase, and then I found Superbase had a solution. And then I found Ably, and out of the 3, Ably was like the clearest, like just I'll give you an API key, I'll give you React hooks, and it just works. I didn't have to worry about like setting up all the setup gotchas that can happen when you're dealing with real-time data, especially with React, and dealing with like ensuring that you're not resubscribing to rooms, or dealing with unsubscribing after you close a component. Kind of already did that for me, so that was nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. Although I guess at the same time you said it doesn't have auth baked in, so it is. Yeah,
yeah, it has an auth. Yeah, it has an auth, like it has auth, like it has, based on documentation that I was reading, I saw auth and I skipped over because I didn't need it for the demo, but it does have an auth implementation, but it's not with the React hooks piece. So if you're going to build the auth process in, you would actually need to do all the legwork for developing the flow for how you authenticate your client with their server, and how that server authenticates with your system, just to make sure that everyone says who they are. Yeah, I find that would kind of put me back in the realm of all the other real-time solutions. So I don't know if I would definitely go with Ably then. I think that some of the other platforms do it a little bit better. But just to get up and running, Ably was like very simple.
Yeah, very cool. Great demo. Thanks a lot.
Awesome. If anyone has one last question, feel free to ask. And also we can keep the combo going in the dev channel too. But yeah, just a huge thank you to both of our presenters today. Maybe another round of applause here for our EPs. Awesome work. If you want to keep us posted too, feel free to let me know if you want to give us an update at the next hop demos too, or JDeep as well. We'd love to see if you've continued working on your hop and what the deal is. So just keep me posted. We have our next hop demos in a couple weeks time, so hope to see you there. Yeah, hope everyone has a great rest of the day. Lovely seeing all of your faces. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Yeah, have a great day.